an issue with the housing project, he kind of just dissolved back into whatever hole he
But we haven't seen any
action.
I mean,
interviews.
yes, right now I'm living in Belmopan, but I'm in Belize City all the time. That's where I'm registered. All that great stuff. If I'm in Belize for a week, I've seen PUP come on my block 4 times. I have not seen a single UDP candidate.
That's a function of number 5, which is campaign financing. Right. You can't show up with nothing in your hands.
Right. No, you could always come to 37 Alan Pitts Crescent with no money in your hand. I want to know the plan.
And I'd like to hear from Sister Moya on this, because in Belize City, if you don't got the right oil, when they're talking about oil, they're not talking about inspiration. They're talking in Belize City about oil, they're talking about finances. So
in certain constituencies, when you go there, and certain pockets though, that's where people expect a little handout. They need that. They need they need that regular support. All right, but there's certain constituencies that people are business people. They want to hear about issues that will affect their businesses.
Right. Yeah.
Crime definitely is an issue. All the drinking, and I think these are things that could have come to the forefront. The drinking, you spoke about local issues.
Yeah.
Public and special liquor licenses are at stake here everywhere.
Mr. Pereira was talking about one of those issues that the independent candidate, he was talking about one of the issues when it comes to the parking meters.
Yes.
And you know, how does this affect local businesses in and around the areas? And why wasn't there consulted, right, and so forth. So that, yes, I will say for him and some of the issues he's been talking about, he has, you know, campaigning on these localized problems.
This position of granting liquor license to everybody, I think just about everybody, everywhere you go, they're selling liquor here, they're selling liquor there, and what's happening? You see, they drink, yes. They drink, but we have to look at the repercussion. People are crashing their vehicles. True. People are killing one another. It's so easy now to point a gun at somebody's head. They're stabbing up this person. All kinds women fighting, young people dying, being killed.
Men fighting men.
The point is really terrible.
These are global issues too.
But this is local issue. It is the local government who's responsible to ensure that there's a curb of all these liquor licenses that are being issued, especially in particular areas where we had done during my time, we had a moratorium, you know, whereby we were not issuing any liquor licensing in certain areas. And I believe that helped, but it has gone back where it is so terrible. Everybody drink, everybody smoke their weed.
But we have to finish this list, right? Because I did want to talk about predictions afterwards. So yes, spicy. Go ahead.
and just to close up the point by Sister Moya, in Belmopan, they've managed to resist lottery license, gambling licenses. So we can see where the municipalities have a contribution to the character of their city.
Right. Very good.
But let's go back to this list.
Keeping it flowing.
Keeping it forward. Number 2, for me,
impact of
yes. So there was this very long-standing argument.
It's a very interesting
that we don't use district.
District. We talk Crawford.
We're not say district. We'll say the impact of an orange walk in your
No.
Yes.
The marriage, and I just say the impact of
a prime minister not being from Belize City.
There you go.
The marriage,
I'm very curious.
You're being politically correct, but this is how we talk.
I'm very curious why.
But this is
our issue. You want to know why I'm curious why that's our issue? Because we had an absentee prime minister from Belize City for 13 years.
Oh my God.
So why John Briceño being from Orange Walk is an issue when we've never really had a prime
But why is this even an issue for a municipal election in the first place?
So for me, the under issues are important because we all know the major issues. And why is this an issue for me is because we know that Belize City is the commercial capital, but it's also the media capital.
Right.
And there's a tendency that if it doesn't happen in Belize City, it didn't happen. Yeah. And for very many years, I know as a successful politician, you will agree to this, that there's an argument to be made that you cannot have a party leader nor a prime minister outside of Belize City because you have 10 here. So the power base is in Belize City, the media is here, and so if you went out district, you kind of became irrelevant.
So are you saying the outer flanks of Belize, the out districts are irrelevant? Are we saying that by extension?
So what I am saying is that was a narrative. And I'm saying that the result...
It's a false narrative, obviously.
But it was an existing narrative.
It was at the time.
An existing narrative from one particular municipality.
No,
because
I think that having a prime minister not being from Belize City also opens up the fact that there are other places in Belize that exist. And it is very important to note that the north in itself, the big, vast north.
So Demi, I don't want you to miss the question that I'm asking.
Okay. I'm not sure what the question is.
Yes, the question is not whether or not it is viable or not. But there's a model of governance that existed up until John Briceño became Prime Minister. And the argument was, historically, that we always chose a Belize City Prime Minister. There has been no Prime Minister other than John Briceño who has been outside of Belize.
But to what how did that benefit us?
Wait, love. I'll get to right now, babe. So, I'm very slow, very slow. So, that discussion, if it is that the Briceño administration is able to have a more than decent representation in these municipal elections, then it starts a narrative that that is an irrelevant factor in general elections and governance.
So you're talking about it being a positive impact?
I'm not coloring it. I'm saying it's a discussion, and the results of the election will determine how we start to look at it, if there's going to be a new way of looking. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
Yes.
And I agree with you. Listen, whether or not we want to accept it, it has been a fact over the years that it was expected that the leader, that the prime minister ought to be from Belize City.
Why?
It was that's just how it was.
No, I mean,
government has been there.
That's just kind of how it was.
I have never been as strong.
I
think my issue is that generationally, Belize gets so used to things being a certain way that it becomes the status quo, it becomes the norm, but there is no logical, viable, sensical reason for it to exist.
No, but what you're saying, I don't think any of us is disputing it. However, what we're saying is
dispute the narrative that
has traditionally been the case. Whether or not it ought to continue now, that's a different story. And we fully agree that we ought to be very inclusive.
I think it was groundbreaking, and it now allows the fact that
it's inclusive.
PUP could and UDP could look for candidates outside of Belize.
Yes, it's inclusive now.
You're taking conversation beyond what my issue is. My issue is an assessment of people used to believe that Tata Duene is this, So the question as to whether or not it exists is not my issue. The question, the fact that they did believe it is the question on hand here. And what will prove it to either be right or wrong is the results
of the general election.
Of this, which is a precursor to general election.
So
this is the first part of the conversation,
so this is
and
part
it
of
continues.
You making a prediction.
This is part of me reflecting how pre-existing belief systems are being unseated. And what we're having here is a generational divide. That's the reason why myself and the very young Zinaida Moya are able to appreciate it. This was a conversation before your time.
But even though it's fine, call it a generational divide. I've lived in other places apart from Belmopan. And because I have never lived in Belize City, I can tell you everybody else know that not only Belize City exists.
And
maybe leaving Belize City, me moving from Belize City to another part of the country made me realize that in Belize City, we the Lulu. We are the moment we can make cars.
But the fact that it is allow me. Wonderful conversation. We have an interview.
Okay, we have an interview
with Honorable Julius Espat that has been waiting long time.
And Julius is from the city, now in the district.
Number one on the list is the issue of the leadership of Shine Barrow. And this is a huge issue because to me, one of the myths, we were talking about marketing, I hope we go back to it, is in marketing, particularly political marketing, you want to hit the weakest point of your opponent. And in my opinion, no disrespect to the good gentleman, the weakest part of the UDP's attempt and campaign to get back into political relevance, their biggest issue is their leadership.
Yep. And without a doubt, no contest.
I'll go further. I'll go scandalously further, right? And it could stone me with egg